So there's the internal culture, but there's also the society, the cultural relevance of Nike, which also feels like it's been lacking in the last few years. How do you restore something like that?
Yeah, I think so. First of all, what we did do, and the fifth component of the win now actions is this ground game. That means that we have teams and teammates down into the key cities around the world where influence happens, whether it is culture or sport. And we lost the people. So we're reinstituting and allocating resources to the key cities around the world to make those connections with influencers and to help be the pulse of where culture is and where sport is and how do we influence that. And so that is a big part of our strategy moving forward. Here's what I would say. I think we've got to make sport cool, and it's our opportunity to invite 8 billion consumers into the world of sport, fitness, and the lifestyle of sport. And when we do that, we grow the overall marketplace.
Has the competition gotten tougher since the last time you were here and trying to do that?
Oh, no question that the competition is strong today. I think part of it is because we opened up shelf space and open to buy in the wholesale business. And so we're having to earn that back. And we understand the responsibility and what's ahead of us in that wholesale business. But the teams are working hard, and I do believe moving to the sport offense, that sharpness by sport will not only help us be better with the consumer in terms of product and storytelling, but it will also make us more competitive.
That's the new structure.
That's the new structure. So you become more competitive because if you think about the competition in running, it's very different than the competition in basketball.
So I'm glad you brought up wholesale because that was actually another bright spot in the quarter, and it's been a strategic, I mean, you said it was one of the places that you wanted to fix. It's a strategic imperative. So what's driving that growth now? Yeah.
So the three areas in the quarter that we pointed to was North America, running, and then the wholesale as sort of proof points that the strategy is working. In terms of wholesale, I think, again, it's across the board, but the team's done a really nice job going back into existing distribution and being, again, this keeps coming back to consumer. What consumer shops Dick's versus what consumer shops JD versus what consumer shops Foot Locker, they're all very different consumers. And getting sharper about the assortments we put in there and then the presentation of those assortments. And that's what's helped drive the sell-through of our product.
And you've also opened it up, Amazon, Aritzia.
We do have some new distribution. The team stepped back and said, hey, where are those consumers today that we're not serving? In the United States, as an example, we opened up Aritzia and Urban Outfitters and had some good success there to go after a younger female consumer. And then, of course, Amazon, as you pointed out, we've had a really good launch with our Nike shop on Amazon as well.
So what ultimately is the right balance that you're trying to achieve between wholesale and direct-to-consumer? Yeah. Because for so long, it was all about direct-to-consumer. That's where the profitable growth was, and that was the big pivot.
Yeah. So here's what I'd say. We do business in almost 190 countries, and every country has a little bit different structure. And what we do is we give a framework to our country teams, and the whole idea is around making certain that we show up wherever consumers choose to show up and shop, digital, physical, owned, and wholesale. And we need to make certain that we are thoughtful about the consumer in that country and where they shop, and then make certain we have the right assortments in those retail formats, digital or physical, and that when we do have them, we elevate the presentation of our brand, and that's how we drive the sell-through. So I'm not going to sit here today and say, hey, ultimately it's this percent. But there's a certain consumer that will never shop Nike Direct. They want to shop Choice, and we need to be there in a thoughtful and meaningful way.
How do you turn around Nike Direct and digital? Because you did call that out as one of the lagging categories. Yeah,
physical, I think we have a really good path forward on physical retail. House of Innovation in New York would be a really nice proof point, along with, we have a smaller format that we did in South Congress in Austin. We have a store on South Congress Avenue, focused on sport. And so when you walk into a consumer now shops House of Innovation, and it's going to seem so simplistic, but there's a running zone. So you walk into Nike Running, footwear, apparel, accessories, men's, women's, all collectively held together, beautiful assortments, presentation, and oh, by the way, service. Runners serving runners. Basketball serving.
This is all new?
All new. And so proof points are there. We've had double digits increases in revenue in those formats. So I think from a physical perspective, we're feeling really good about the direction that we're headed. And then on a digital side, I don't know if you've seen the user experience, but we're really elevating the experience and anchoring it on sport again, sport moments and innovation, and making certain that will be the recipe that drives traffic moving forward.